Two other
rank 5.
factors here. Rank 5. Oh, he's plummeted right down the rankings. He'll be below the casters soon. But there's two big things here. First of all, that I think that Paladin has just, its stock has gone down through the weekend. People have been banning it less and less. So banning it because I think the Rogue just beats it is one thing. But also, No Hands yesterday said he was going to practice the Priest Mirror all night. Unlucky. Like, if Monsanto...
Maybe Monsanto saw that.
Yeah, right. And now you're
going to spend your entire night practicing a Priest Mirror? All right, here you go. No more Priest Mirror.
I don't know if he did because I went to bed myself, but yeah, maybe he
problem solved. Yeah.
I don't want to play a Priest Mirror against someone who's played 100 of them, so I won't. Because I have that power.
100 Priest Mirrors, that is a lot of time. Well, when you're playing Watch Post Rogue, this is the hand you want. Watch Post into Watch Post into Watch Post.
I guess that's why it's called Watch Post Rogue. So it's a good call.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Monsanto is just going to go Jandis.
Sorry, I knew you were going to say it, TJ, and it is just still funny to me because that's exactly what's going to happen. Jandis, maybe with some Shadow Step action, depending exactly how things line up. And by maybe, I mean that's definitely going to happen.
I wonder.
The rest of his game, though, is going to be really awkward because this post is going to be there for some time.
Yeah, the entire game, you're right. And this post is also going to be there for a very long time once it gets played onto the board, so...
Yeah, and the next post will be there for a while also. Just literally, the cards are looking at each other. They're watching each other. They're not actually doing anything. It's great. Is he going to take 8? Like, just 4 turns of taking 2 to kill.
It's actually not... Yeah, it's actually not that much, you know? Well, he's thinking, like, if No Hands plays a minion here, then he can trade in the 2/2 that he gets from the Watch Post and Dagger. Monsanto's curve's, like, not that bad. He goes Mancrick into Jandis and Shadow Step to Jandis. When you Shadow Step a minion, it's placing it back into your hand. It doesn't count as drawing it, so the Watch Post doesn't increase its cost.
However, playing it generates a 2/2 grunt for your opponent, but you don't care for the simple reason that you have a Jandis. Also gets to kill off one of these posts this turn, which is nice.
Do you even kill the post, or do you just kill the 2/2 that spawns? Oh man, this is so awkward. This is so weird. This is such a weird board state.
I think you kill the 2/2 because your Mancrick might actually be worth defending here. Because he's kind of a good shape for the current mess that is this Hearthstone board.
Wow, he just wants to kill that Watch Post. Yeah, he really is like all in on Jandis kind of at the moment.
Which is a good card to be all in on.
It really is, yeah. Like you can Jandis, Shadow Step, Jandis. If you have control of the board and play Jandis and the Shadow Step to Jandis, it's very difficult for your opponent to do anything. And he's fine with, for now, letting these cards cost a few more because he knows that he has a couple powerful plays and will be able to make that mana up in the coming turns.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting actually because No Hands cards are going to cost like nothing almost because of the Octo. But Monsanto has 2 Jandises.
Yeah.
And a 6 mana Kazaka. We've seen Kazakas cost 1. We've seen it cost 4. We've seen it cost 6. What is going on?
What makes something real?
Still good at 6 mana.
Oh, it's good. Oh, it's good in Rogue. Yeah, yeah. I was going to try and sort of corner you there. Put it back in Paladin where you weren't looking.
It's still good in Paladin. It's not as good as Caro Rome. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. All right, so Monsanto has some stuff, and No Hands is going to use a lot of resources dealing with this stuff.
Yeah, Monsanto's thinking, normally the accepted method of dealing with an Octobot is to attack it as soon as possible so your opponent can't curate how they activate the hand reduction, right?
Yep.
Monsanto also has a four attack taunt, meaning the Octobot can't just trade in for free, that No Hands would have to play something that triggered it. If he's playing a minion to trigger the discount, it means that Monsanto gets a 2/2 from the Morshon Watchbow. So there's no reason for him to trade in that damage because everything that NoHandsGamer does is essentially going to be in Monsanto's favor. And this is not the greatest hand for to deal with a Jandis board. Obviously, he doesn't have a pen flinger, but then he gives over a 2/2. He's going to guess correctly, but then he gives over a 2/2.
He's correctly guessed
that?
The watch post is in his way, but isn't this really slow?
He's okay.
He thinks he still has time to fight back from this. I'm not going to argue,
coming.
but there's another Jandis coming and he knows it.
Yeah. I mean, a 9-mana Kargal is very difficult to play, so. But out of all the cards to get the increase in cost, that's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Oh, the Stone Maul Anchorman.
Yes.
That's good. They're both 4/5s. That's just good.
It's just all good. I wonder if No Hands thought he was in so much trouble that he had to play for the bad Jandis. Like, yes, I know you've got another Jandis, but I don't beat a good Jandis. I'm going to try and beat a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
So many options.
Because otherwise the last
like
play kind of doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So it looks like Monsanto's just going to completely clear the board here. Kills off the first watch post first, so that this card drawn is worth it.
Yeah. And now he's just Token Druid versus Rogue with a good start. Bunch of 4/5s. Rogue has nothing.
Yep. Well, No Hands does know which ones of these are the illusion because both of the non-illusioned 5-drops have taken damage at this point.
Right.
Problem is, it's pretty expensive to try and kill those because he's used a pen flinger. So doesn't have a second pen flinger in hand, which means Brain Freeze can kill one, and then
I think you're all in on the world's best one thief.
is he gonna Brain Freeze his Octobot?
Efficient is sufficient.
No.
Maybe. He might do. Mark of Cthulhu.
So you swindle and then Brain Freeze your Octobot?
Choose.
Yeah, I guess. The orb.
Or you hit Og Merchant?
Oh.
Or you sent. Okay. This Octobot can get traded over quite easily.
He seems to be making less haste than we feel he should be.
Yeah, I mean,
We kind of wanted
he
him
knows
to
that
go for this, but
he knows that 3 cards in Monsanto's hand cost 2 additional mana. But I feel like Monsanto here can just take his time to develop a Kazakis, get a nice solid 5 Golem, and then still go into next turn with quite a large board. Even though he does have 2 illusion minions left, like he's still getting a lot of value out of illusion minions. Usually those are the first to go, but No Hands has been prioritizing the other ones.
oh,
He gets the buff now.
buffed illusion minions are bigger.
Wonder if he doesn't care about the discount, pushes all face. Because that's a wicked stab for lethal. or any minion sticking for lethal.
I think, honestly,
The 4/6 goes face.
yeah, push face, and it should be lethal because no hands should just explode. Obviously, he's going to look for not these cards.
He's Cone of Cold, Combustion.
I get
Ice Barrier doesn't even keep him alive with the board state. No Hands concedes, and despite the triple post opening and Monsanto ignoring the far watch post for many turns, manages to get through with the Jandis Shadow Step Jandis. So you kind of get a feel for which cards are higher prioritized in the mulligan. Far watch post is a great card, but Jandis and Shadow Step just gives you a massive board turn after turn, and Monsanto did a great job of keeping a solid hold on the board by prioritizing killing the Morshan watch post, which is the only one that was going to interrupt his plan of Jandis, right? Because the far watch post, it didn't matter. He could Jandis, Shadow Step Jandis with no impact with the far watch post on the board, but he couldn't with the Morshan watch post on the board. So that's why you saw him deal with that as fast as possible. So I like the kind of priority on that game plan.
It was literally playing for one card. I feel like No Hands didn't panic early enough. I don't usually advocate players panicking. I usually panic way before the pro players and start doing things wastefully. But I feel this was an exception where actually No Hands needed to just start throwing things at minions, get rid of them, and hope something worked out well. Because that was too much damage too quickly. He could have, pinged off the illusions and then tried to get lucky and kill one or two other minions, maybe buy a turn or two. I'm not saying it would have been a great, but he sort of just kind of cruised to getting his face hit with 7 minions there for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to win from that position when you're really just not finding the agency to deal with like double Jandis. But maybe there's a more efficient way to do it. But that was in the books. That's a big one, though, because winning a mirror matchup when you have mirror lineups is just essentially a free win. It's not a free win because you worked for it, but
you're playing 3 against 2.
A little bit of leeway on one of these other mirror matchups. So No Hands is going to move on to the Secret Paladin. This is the deck that Monsanto said, I don't need to ban it. I'm going to leave up, ban your priest and leave up your Paladin. And we'll see if that's going to pay off for him. See if he actually does have more game against Paladin than he would have against priest if he had banned this Paladin instead.
That is something I love when players do this. It doesn't happen that often when they bring mirrored lineups and they then don't mirror the ban. You get to see, on a sample size of 1, admittedly, but we forget about that part, who was right. Like, there will be a person who will tell you they were right and one who will tell you that they were unlucky at the end of this game.
Yeah. One of them's wrong, though.
One of them is... We know that one of them is definitely wrong. Whether we get to prove that over best of 5, we don't know.
No, we do get to prove it over best of 5 100% of the time.
Good.
Because it's the only thing we can use to prove it over. But I believe it is going to be Priest versus Paladin in this game. Yes, it is. Monsanto up the Priest. And
Battle of the Unbanned.
Yeah. So this matchup can be difficult at times. The 2 windows for the Secret Paladin is 1, early aggression, and the Priest doesn't answer. But if the Priest can answer early boards, then your win condition becomes, alright, recurring damage with Pen Flingers. And that's where Mind Render Lucia comes in. You Mind Render and you get rid of the Pen Flingers / Librams, whatever you need to do. Yeah. So there's a couple of different checks in the game that the Priest needs to pass. Checkpoints, I guess, that the Priest needs to pass. If they pass those, then this matchup can seem incredibly one-sided. But alternatively, if they don't pass each of those checkpoints, then this game will feel incredibly one-sided in the other direction. So,
and this is it. This is Monsanto at the very least, and it's probably a lot more than this, being at least mischievous. Like, No Hands is going to practice priest mirrors, all right. No knight for you. Your knight has been wasted. No priest for you. And also, what you were saying, Monsanto thinks priest is good anyway, so it's the double whammy of, okay, you now have to prove that you're A, Mischief is amazing, and B, that you are right, that Priest is the deck. This is it. This is kind of what you've signed up for.
Yep.
I love it.
All right, let's get into it. Sword of the Fallen, opening hand for no hands. Monsanto, I'll be honest, Priest mulligans, outside of keeping Draconic Studies, outside you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, just be good at Priest.
Yeah, palm reading, Draconic Studies, I guess, since he kept it, Insight.
Hysteria, maybe, because big paladin things, killing
Sure.
the other big paladin
Hysteria.
things. Good cards. Keep good cards.
There you go.
He didn't cry when he drew Hysteria, so I'm therefore right. If he'd burst into tears, I'd have been wrong.
No hands kept Libram of Judgment.
A lot of damage.
It is. It's 15 damage. It's also a dead card in your opening hand. It's a dead card for a long time. Ooh, palm reading. Nice. Heart of Cthulhu could be decent as well. I don't think he needs a second insight. But yeah, palm reading, initial instinct, quite good. Let's see what Secret is pulled out here. He drew an Avenge and drew an Oh My Yogg and does play one Galloping Savior. So it's actually a perfectly equal split as to what this Secret could be. And it looks like it was Oh My Yogg.
Just
Deadly Shot!
wow.
Okay, that Reliquaries actually could be a big deal.
It's actually another big minion for No Hands to have in his deck, in a deck that might not have enough chances.
Yeah, that's very difficult for Monsanto to remove. I guess Hysteria on other minions makes it a little bit easier than it perhaps was in the past.
So in the old Priest Mirror, it was all about who could get the most Reliquaries. And Monsanto banned the Priest to avoid the Mirror, and now he's a Reliquary down against Paladin.
Yeah. This is Oh My Yogg and Avenge. If I'm Monsanto, I kind of want to just rip the whole Innova. Because if it's Oh My Yogg, you get a 4-cost spell, which is can be pretty decent.
And the only use for this Nova, this game, is going to be as a Divine Shield procker, really.
Aww.
It's gonna be...
Pack Tactics! What?
That'll be fine.
Okay. Well, now Monsanto doesn't have to worry about Oh My Yogg anymore. Both of them have been used early on in the game. No Hands hasn't gotten that big of a board lead from it.
But is he going to get exclusive trapped? We know he's not, but he doesn't know he's not.
Well, he does now because he attacked into it, so...
Cute bit of ordering there. He probably would have done it anyway, but wouldn't maybe have played the hand, actually. He'd have played the hand on the Attendant if the explosive trap had gone off. But as it didn't, he puts it on the Divine Shield minion to get double damage out of it, basically.
I wonder.
I cannot wait to read these.
Now he's just taking his time playing around every Hunter spell secret in the game. He doesn't see it, right?
No. So he knows that it's Galloping Savior and Avenge. There's only one Galloping Savior in the deck, so that's the only copy of it. I have a feeling Monsanto's trying to find a way to set up for a good Hysteria.
Which isn't easy.
But for now, I don't even know, because if you go with Zarella here, it procs the Avenge, and you're going to have a... 6-5 against a 4-4, which doesn't feel good, but having a big minion on the board makes Hysteria decent.
What knowledge do the stars provide?
I guess you just go for it, right? He needs to find ways to spend his mana because he can't fall too far behind. And if this is a trade over from No Hands, I think he's fine with that. Because then he does have the pack tactics up. Okay, so that makes it make a little bit more sense. The pack tactics makes No Hands a little bit more scared to use this. So No Hands has this narrowed down to pack tactics, snake trap, and open the cages because he's tested for freezing. Obviously, he's tested for explosive.
And this Libra of Judgment that felt a little bit clunky in the opener has just fit in very nicely here indeed. It's come out sort of on curve as he would like. I know it's been reduced, which has helped that a lot, but you're allowed to reduce it. That's what your deck does.
Yeah. Got a Mauve Cthulhu here that could be used, but maybe Monsanto's worried about Libram of Hope. There has only been one Libram reduction.
This is where Priest players really come into their own for me. You've got awful curve. You can play one card a turn, and if you get it wrong, you lose. Not only that, but most of your cards don't do their thing properly in just one turn. They sort of add up over multiple turns.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like the Mauve Cthulhu is being saved exactly for Libram of Hope. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Monsanto passed the first check. He got through the first wave of secrets and was able to fully clear the board without taking too much damage. And now he's getting through to the second check, right? So now that Monsanto has seen a pen flinger, he knows that at some point he's going to be able to mind render once he dumps a respectable amount of his hand in order to get rid of the pen flingers for the second win condition. And he's already got answers to big boards like that come from Libram of Hopes with the Mauve Cthulhu that's in his hand. And the Sword of the Fallen, there's no more secrets left in the deck, actually. No, there's 0. Because he runs 5 secrets and he has the second event in his hand. I wonder how far he thinks he needs to go in here.
No Hands announcing what he thinks of this matchup, by the way, there. Hero powering over a Flame Imp, so it's going to take some time.
Yep. Doesn't even avenge. All right, this is probably the best Eye of Cthulhu is ever going to get. It's very unlikely that you don't clear the board.
Yes. And, I mean, also, start casting those pieces because you might just accidentally win with Cthulhu this way. I mean,
that's pretty rare.
It's really rare. It's not something you even consider, but when you've picked up 3 pieces this quickly, you've got to at least pay it some sort of attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't even talk about that until there's sort of 5 cards left in the deck or something, but as they're actually useful and as it's sort of an unusual hand, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, I think there's also some merit here to Heart of Cthulhu because there's also you feel like there's never really going to be a board of small stuff like this, but Heart of Cthulhu I feel like is more flexible, whereas Eye of Cthulhu isn't really ever going to do much.
Yeah.
But yeah, No Hand's still a turn away from Libra of Hope, so he still can't pressure much. There we go, Northwatch Commander. That can get something going.
Yeah, 3, 4 for 3 is still decent. Oh my goodness. You just don't want to be not applying damage to Priest. Like, this Libram is supposed to be doing 15 damage and sort of winning the game by now, but actually it's just been on defensive duty. There's been no other real damage applied. It's all a little bit slow. He's still okay. It's just not going particularly great for him. For No Hands.
He still doesn't want to use the Avenge.
So what's the specific plan for that? There must be an exact situation.
I'm not sure. I can't think of it. My subconscious is working on it, but I know there's a reason.
Oh, no. I thought I had it.
He wants to keep a spell in hand so that he can actually use it for Penflinger, since he doesn't have Libram, so Penflinger doesn't have any guaranteed targets if he needs to kill a minion, right?
Seems reasonable. Seems the best explanation, in fact. Something Soul Mirror is the only other thing I've got.
Yeah. All right, I don't really know if there's anything to do here for Monsanto. Might be a hero power pass. I can't think of a good way to clean off this board. He's shown that he's not going to use his Mob Cthulhu until Libra of Hope comes out. Okay. Heart of Cthulhu.
Sure.
Doesn't kill the 3/1.
It's 5 mana you might not ever spend in this game if you have normal sort of draws, so sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's true. This makes sense. Next turn, he can, if he wants like a full board clear, he can go Holy Nova Maw.
Yeah.
That also empties his hand a lot, so he can eventually Mind Render Lucia to dump a Penflinger, but I think that's much later on in the game. I don't think it's worth it to just dump one Penflinger.
No, I agree. You've got to be. One of the things I've learned watching the good priest players, unfortunately, is not how to play priest well, but you don't waste anything if you don't have to, and that might not tie in with what I was saying last turn about you just play the piece of Cthulhu, but that was never getting played if you didn't play it last turn because you're going to be doing far more important things from that turn onwards. So you have to use every resource, including the old adage of keeping your health total as a resource. But now you've got to do something, because these are some big minions.
I must consider.
I like the Maw plus, I guess, heal. Wants the Holy Nova for some kind of wide board clear. I like that Monsanto's just taking like, all right, do I have to use this? If I don't have to use it, am I ever going to have the mana for it again? That kind of thing. So,
yeah, I'm going to take 3. Who cares? Like, you care, but you care a lot more about your Holy Nova, so you don't play it.
Yeah.
And you heal your face and get 2 of it back. That's what your hero power's for. It's to buy you these cards, this time.
This is not what we stood for.
If we'll see the Avenge now, if we're just never going to see it. Now there's a Divine Shield out there. He is just going to save this all the way for the Penflinger, looks like.
Yep. What?
Whoa!
That's the last... No way!
Don't forget, there's insights in this deck. He did play one earlier that got turned into something, I forget what now. But there's still another one. He might just Cthulhu no hands to death at some point.
That also means that his Cthulhu is still intact if he Mind Renders.
Yes.
But that also means his opponent can draw Cthulhu the turn after he Mind Renders.
So just don't Mind Render then until you've drawn Cthulhu and won the game. Just draw Cthulhu next turn and wedge it onto the board.
But now No Hands has to think about like every turn putting enough health on the board to where Cthulhu doesn't kill him.
Or the other option, so he's got to consider that, and then sometimes he'll go, you know what? Just hope he doesn't draw it. Which is dangerous, but sometimes you might just have to do that. What he does know is he's got to hurry up. Like he can't mess about anymore. He has to actually go for it, because that is going to kill him. Oh, for instance, half the time it's drawn in the next 10 cards. That's without insights. So yeah, you've got to get on with it. You don't have that long, drawn-out battle anymore.
Yeah.
He actually started playing quicker as well, which is amusing to me when players do that. Now there's urgency. He plays the turn quicker. As if that speeds anything up. It's a very human instinct.
This might be the Elucia turn? Wait, no! Oh my gosh, no, he can Elucia. If he Elucias, then he needs to make sure that he doesn't kill Talon Forging, because if he kills Talon Forging, then No Hands will draw the Cthulhu and kill him.
Honestly, I just want to see that happen, even though it would be very, very sad. And I'm sure he won't. Hysteria doesn't look too bad. But then that's because we can see the Lady Liadrin in hand for no hands already, I guess. It probably looks a lot worse from where
I mean,
Monsanto's
Hysteria doesn't look great. I mean, it takes 1 power off the board. If that. Sometimes it puts more power on the board.
Yeah, but...
because the Avenge that's in play.
Sure.
Oh, no. Okay. He really needs to not throw this. He really needs to not throw this. If he plays Libra of Justice, he's dead. He's dead.
Did he just... yeah, No Hands knows it. No Hands is...
He's dead.
Oh my.
He just killed himself. Right?
Oh my.
Because now No Hands trades in the Talon, and he draws the Cthulhu.
He's done it.
He just killed himself.
What was that? No Hands hadn't seen it coming. He's only just realized what's happening. And no, Monsanto doesn't know yet. He's lacking critical information, TJ.
What the heck, man?
And it's 1-0.
All right, that was a throw. That was... Monsanto just took that game in his hand and he chucked it as far as he could.
TJ, he should have banned his own priest.
So I think he played that game exceptionally up until the very last turn. I was hoping he wouldn't see it because double Hysteria. You're gonna be able to clear a lot of things, right? He's got time. He was at a lot of health. He had Flash Heal. He had Desperate Prayer. He had time to buy himself, right? All he needed to do was wait for the Talon to die, and then go for the Mind Render. And he was getting a lot of good, cheap throwaway cards, like Penflinger and stuff like that. That's all he had to do. And I feel like he wins that game, because there had been no Libra of Wisdoms played. It was a while before NoHandsGamer was going to get to the Libra of Hope, Lady Liadrin kind of play, where he can keep going with Penflingers over and over again in one Penflinger. I think Monsanto is favored from that position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yep. And so, the priest looked good, right? He passed the checkpoints. It's just that was the surprise checkpoint that nobody expected.
Well, you did.
That's rough.
You called it. You said it was coming.
I didn't say I
said it might happen.
He just needs to make sure that he doesn't. I said you can't. If you're Lucia here, don't leave him of Justice, because even if he doesn't kill the Talon, if you leave him of Justice, his Mind Render's on the board. No Hands just trades the Talon in and draws the.
I'll give him that. He just went full on. He's like, I'm not going to even let you forget to trade your Talon. I'm just going to kill it for you, so you definitely draw my Cthulhu.
Exactly.
On turn 9. So one thing with Hearthstone is you learn by making every mistake once, right? I'm not going to defend him because that was terrible, and a top player shouldn't make that mistake. But you learn by making every mistake once. There's some mistakes you always make. You never have your Cthulhu in your hand or in your deck on turn 9 or 10 or whatever it was. It's never in there that early. So he's never had the chance to make that terrible mistake before. But even so, I am wounded.
Wounded.
Imagine Fled right now. Fled's like, why didn't he do this yesterday?
I hope that Monsanto isn't too wounded by that one, because there's still some series left to play. So it's 1-1. He's got to kind of forget about that and say, all right, you got me. Happens to everybody once. Now let's reset. He's going to queue up the Mage. Try and take a win. He's got Rogue and Mage left. If Priest can take a win against the post-Rogue, then we're kind of in an even matchup, and then it comes down to whether or not who wins between the Mages. So I think that if Monsanto still wins this next game with Mage, that he's in a good spot to win the series, because I think that the Priest is still a good deck. I think he's on to something with banning the Priest, because we're seeing how strong Priest has ended up being across the week. It feels like it's like a rock, paper, scissors kind of thing, where the deck that's beating the Priest is the Warlock, but Warlock is losing to everything else. Right? That's why we saw Tice. Well, I guess Tice's Warlock was working as intended because it was beating aggro decks too in the finals of Europe, but it was beating control decks to get there. That's why I think like Language Hacker actually made a good call with his lineup this week. It's just he drew terribly in a couple of games with the Warlock and it knocked him out of the tournament, and he got maged.
A lot of people got maged this week, and I think No Hands is about to get maged, but obviously there's a long way to go yet, and it's probably just one card that Monsanto's going to keep here to commence the maging. And in fairness, No Hands has got a pretty decent... Oh, double flow.
Yeah, it still needs some card draw, though. Double flow is great and all, but that's 2 cards in your opening hand. If you hit flow into flow and then just don't hit card draw for like 4 or 5 turns, you can still get blown out of a game. But once you do hit card draw and it just keeps on coming since you haven't drawn any of your card draw yet, you're in for a pretty pleasant time because his fireballs are going to cost, well, one of his fireballs in his hand. Apexis Blast costs 3, Fireball costs 2, Mask of Cthulhu costs 5, which means that you can do one of each of those in a single turn for 21 damage. So
that's not a lot. Yeah, he's got the message now. Don't flow with Priest, just flow with Mage.
Yeah, I kind of want to see him deviate here. He doesn't have card draw anyway, and just go with Devolving Missiles.
Like one of the ways you lose is to this card.
All right. Well, he's putting it on No Hands. He's saying, well, if you want to, sure, go for the activate your own Octobot, whatever.
Yeah, I've activated my whole deck. You're activating 5 cards. So that's a thing. But still, I would have liked to also have seen this getting taken care of. But there's other things that he's going to be worried about. So yeah, you stab your own Octobot, I guess, is kind of the attitude as well.
Wait. Okay.
Because he's
I feel like stab is how you beat Mage and Link. I guess he's desperate because he saw double flow. So this game's not going to go that long, right? Stab is usually how you kill mages later on in the game.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of damage in early, you flinger, stab, and that's like your finisher, right?
But look at this turn now, because field contact into double combo. This is what he gets from that stab.
Yeah.
Because he's in a hurry, like you're saying, he gets a lot from this. Or at least a decent amount. Obviously, he's got nothing to actually brain freeze, but at some point, this is a lot in one turn coming up. And there's also the Cargo as well, which is actually going to be fairly reasonable as a reduced card already.
Yeah, let's take a look at Monsanto. He is playing 1 Flame Strike, so that's the card that deals with it.
Mm-hmm. So that's a big deal. Like, it doesn't have to be... You don't have to have a board full of 5/5s to this be a good card.
Mm-hmm.
You'd like 1 more, but 3 5/5s is giant, really.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. No Hands can go Field Contact, Man Crick, Wand Thief, and then Brain Freeze is 1/1.
Greeding it again. Yeah, the first greed, sure. This greed, not so sure, right?
Because that gives you 3 draws to find the angered Man Crick.
Yeah.
Monsanto's still not drawing any card draw. I'm just ripping Mask here.
Yeah, might as well play every Cthulhu card in the whole of the game apart from Cthulhu itself in one series. Go for it.
Yeah, alternatively, he can play it slow and ping and devolving missiles, but that's boring. On average, he kills this board.
How often do you do anything more than draw 1 card with his cram session if you wait?
Quite often.
How often do you do it soon?
Quite often.
How scared are you of the fact your opponent stabbed their own Octo and then didn't play any of the cards?
Not scared.
Okay, then you hold on to the cram session like Monsanto did.
Because but waiting even longer means you're letting Monsanto like deal with this stuff incrementally. I guess he was just setting up for the turn 6 cargo, but this is...
So the correct play is to Apexis Blast one of these, get a minion that has spell damage, and then play Cram Session.
Save me, as it saved me.
Or you can Devolving. I think that they're all 7s? Or... Oh no, it's a 5, yeah. The main one's a 7, that one's a 5, so it's going to be a 2-drop. A 3-2! Archer Protector's a 3-2 now! Ah!
Wow. I didn't realize this.
Yeah. So the other day I played
51
Mark of the
buffs.
Wild, it was +2/+3. I was like, that's sick! Defender of Argus is a 3-3.
Yeah. I learned that one for some Battlegrounds playing. It's like all of the people in Battlegrounds were like, why is Constructed ruining our game with their extra point of attack?
Oh,
It
yeah.
weren't quite like that, but yeah.
All right. No hands greeted, and it paid off. Because look at this turn.
Yep.
Got me fired up.
This is great. So actions taken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's worked well.
Now he can go 6, so he can Plunderer at the end of this. He can go Pen Flinger on the 5/1, Shadow Step the Wand Thief, or the Argent Protector. What else?
No, not the... He could actually do the Argent Protector. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Or you can wait
nicely
and get a
done.
Shadow Step your Kazakas twice next turn and make a lot of 1/1s and buffs. And oh my goodness. Or just kill your opponent next turn and don't really care about what you do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yesterday when I say that Field Contact is the best card in the game, I think I was right.
Arcane Intellect. And 2-mana Refreshing Spring Water. Let's see it.
So how often do you Cram Session and get more than one card?
A 1-mana Arcane Intellect.
That's better than a 3-mana one. This is a lot of damage coming up.
All right. Always the question when you start doing this stuff. Can he kill him?
Yep, I was just thinking that. Killing All Day is looking from behind the sofa right now. Between cracks in his fingers, like, oh my goodness, it's 25 damage. You can do that with 1 mana, I know you can.
Okay, Arcane Intellect, in case you hit Refreshing Spring Water. Unless he's planning on playing like Scryer or Fireball or something. He's run out of time. What is happening?
I don't know. I wonder if he's still a little bit disturbed from last game, honestly. Like, that sort of thing is hard to shake off sometimes. It's easy for us to shake off because we can just, have a little giggle at the player's expense and then just get on with it. But yeah.
This is the killing blow. No hands goes Field Contact, Colt Neophyte, Shadow Step to Colt Neophyte, Colt Neophyte, Shadow Step to Colt Neophyte, Colt Neophyte.
And then you hit your opponent for a lot of damage. Yeah.
Yep. That's why, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
No hands with the greed on the Field Contact paying off incredibly. Was able to hit everything he needed. I think that this board happens anyway, right? Maybe he doesn't draw as many cards the turn before, but the cards that he was drawing weren't even that much more. So now Monsanto essentially has +1 spell cost because he got -2 spell cost from the Canner's Flow. But then +3 now from the Colt Neophyte, so he's going to have a hard time. His Flame Strike will still be playable if he draws it off the top.
And this is the flip side of the coin. Cast your mind back all the way to game at number 1. When No Hands, I thought he was being a bit greedy in game 1, and then he just got sort of mown down. And I was like, well, he was a bit greedy there. Well, this is the flip side. If you're greedy and it works, and clearly he feels that on percentage that's what happens, that it works, not doesn't work. And it was a different situation, but whatever. In general, being greedy, then you get the reward like this. It's going to pay off really nicely for him.
All right, Monsanto is dead. There's no way that he can clear off enough damage, I don't think. Wait, he can go with the Firework Elemental on the field contact and then ping the 2-1. That leaves 7 damage on board. He knows that there's at least 2 in hand with Penflinger plus Dagger up. But NoHandsGamer does have a secret pass, so it's very likely to find that second Wicked Stab. So I think it has to be Firework Elemental plus ping.
NoHands is feeling it.
Time runs out on me.
He's gone through every card in Hearthstone in his mind to work out if he's won or lost this, and he knows there's nothing to happen. Oh!
Trick Totem into Explosive Shot. Explosive Trap.
Or treat.
Excuse me. Combustion would also work here. It needs to be something big. Cloak of Shadows! No way! No way!
That's something big, all right, TJ.
Okay.
That is huge.
I said Firework Elemental Ping is like the best chance for him to stay alive, but Font of Power into Trick Totem is the best way to stay alive, because let's say he like I said, he gets Explosive Trap. This is the best. This is very obviously the best. Right?
NoHands hasn't got any Shadow Steps left now to get any value out of it. I mean, he's still got an amazing hand.
Oh my god, that was
Okay.
so sick.
But he's burned all the Shadow Steps,
So
making last
sick.
turn impossible. It's ridiculous. I need a moment. Wow.
And Monsanto's deck is back to costing nothing now.
So now he's back to being able to kill him in one turn again.
Wait a second. He's got a Mizaki in hand. If he draws Refreshing Spring Water off the top, he might actually just be able to kill him from 25. And he has a card draw.
0 mana Primordials.
He's got card draw as well, with the Scryer. 2 Refreshing Spring Water.
He's drawn it!
No Hands is dead. He's got to go. Monsanto's got to go.
This is ridiculous. He needs to spend 2 seconds working out if he thinks it works. If he thinks it works, he goes.
No, I don't think it's going to work because of the Cold Neophyte played at the very end. His spells are only -1. So if he goes Mizaki Refreshing Spring Water, he gains 4 back. He's at 5 mana.
Got other options here, though.
Flame Strike.
It exists. It's in his deck. It's a one-off, right? I think. Let me call it up. Sorry, I shouldn't.
He cram sessions first because he wants to spend a little bit of mana before Refreshing Spring Waters. He wants to spend 1 mana. This is just inefficient, right?
I mean, you find Flame Strike and then you don't mind.
Yep.
And Combustion, apparently.
That's a full board clear. That's free, so might as well use that. Solarian, Flame Strike, Cram Session? Or I guess just Cram Session and Combustion to fully clear the board.
Yeah, get rid of everything, work it out next turn, and spend your time in NoHands turn working out what you're going to do, because there's calculating needing doing here.
Because NoHands isn't going to kill him, right? He's used a Wicked Stab.
He shouldn't kill him. It's probably possible, but perhaps it is. Perhaps it is. With double 0 mana passage and a
Oh no, it is. It's lethal. Yeah, it's lethal. Yep, killed him anyway. I think you're supposed to go for. I don't know. I don't know.
Mizaki, Primordial, play a 0 mana spell damage to get more damage. Spring Water. You've got to kill him with the 2 fireballs in your hand.
Even if you hit 2 spell damage things, so that's Fireball 8 plus the Fireball 10. He would have needed to play 15 spells outside of the Primordial Studies in order to get enough damage. Or found second Spring Water into like Ruined Orb and a Pexis Blast, because the Ruined Orb would have had. No, it still would have had 1 cost because of the Cold Neophyte. The Cold Neophyte ended up being the difference there, but.
Yeah, if it wasn't the Neophyte, then
Cloak of Shadows was clutch, but it just didn't end up being enough, and NoHands takes the win.
I need to lie down. This series is too much, and it's only halfway through, maybe. for a certain definition of the word half. Well, No Hands took that down with some very brave play early on, some very solid play. He stood there, he was willing to just stab his own Octo and then do nothing. And let the battle cries and combos build up in his hand in the face of double encounters. That's why it was so amazing. Otherwise, yeah, that's a fairly natural looking play otherwise.
Yeah. Not the greatest follow-up to a double encounters. I mean, I said exactly that. Like, you have like 4 or 5 turns to hit card draw, and if you don't, then you're in a rough spot because the Rogue is one of the best tempo decks in the game right now. Even though their stuff is small, they can make a lot of it very quickly. So we'll see, but No Hands just has the spell mage remaining. He's got 2 chances to win with it. And Monsanto has Priest and Mage left for himself.
Yeah.
So I'm favoring No Hands, obviously, because, you know, he just has 1 deck to win with, and they both have Mage. But I do think Priest and Mage, I mean, Priest is a deck that can very much so beat Mage, outside of crazy deck and lunacy shenanigans.
I want to see it happen.
Down to a mirror.
I've watched a lot of Hearthstone this weekend, and I know, like, from listening and talking to people that Priest is okay against Mage. All I ever see happen, no matter how hard the Priest try, is the Mage save damage and basically OTK the Priest every single time. Whether the Priest gets on the board, whether the Priest stops some spells, whether the Mage takes a long time, whether the Mage goes quickly. All I see them do is gather damage in their hand, point it all at face, and win. But I know, because smart people have told me otherwise, that this is abnormal. But every time I watch it, that's what happens.
Well, it's really difficult to OTK. Even with multiple reductions, actually dealing like 25 plus damage in a single turn without setup is hard. And by setup, I mean like hoarding damage, hoarding spell damage, and like actually having minions on board that Priest has to deal with the turn before you go for it, so they can't like heal or set up or anything like that. So.
But it just seems to happen. Like, I've seen 22s and 24s and things several times, and I've never seen the Priest win. Obviously, I realise, you know, that it does. But this weekend, it's been defying the laws. Mm-hmm. So we're going to find out.
Getting into the game now. Priest versus Mage. I'm sure Monsanto has a lot of practice with this matchup, because if you've been playing any deck on ladder, which I know he's been playing Priest on ladder a lot, you've been playing against Mage. Mm-hmm. Probably in 50+% of your games. Maybe not as much recently, but at least you know, a few days ago.
Right. Well, he gets the studies, which is, I guess, the start of everything. Puts the 4 dangerous spells into his deck again. Be careful with those.
Just Brightwing on 2.
It just is, isn't it?
Yep. Just get a minion. Be proactive. I mean, it's a pretty good start. Want to power, looking for spell damage here. Doesn't find it, but finds a Raz.
Could come in very handy later on in some situations, especially maybe with a Phoenix or something where you're guaranteed to get some use.
Right.
So, the final. Dreadeye versus... No.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
This can go wrong. Deck of Lunacy, for all of its crazy and for all of the amazing times it wins you games very, very powerfully, sometimes it just whiffs. Very rarely. But it does take away the burn option now. He has to win with the Lunacy option, which is obviously correct. But sometimes you just draw all the minion-affiliated spells and bad things happen to you. But it's very rare.
All right. Cycle of Hatred, not the best against Priest. So that's one thing Monsanto has going for him. He has no idea, though, because he doesn't know what's in No Hands' deck.
Yep.
He's got some time here to assemble answers. Fatigue is Monsanto's win condition now. A
Yeah.
0 mana fireball.
Not what you want to face when you're trying to fatigue your opponent.
Monsanto's probably thinking to himself, okay, not bad, not a bad start. I can deal with that.
Yeah, it's going okay. Just a 3/3. Is that all you got?
Yeah.
Skeletal for a bit of value, maybe?
Yep, Skeletal can be played next turn. It's an awkward shape. Hard for Deck of Lunacy to deal with. That into Grand Slam. Ayo!
This is a good card, and this is the one that, yeah, Monsanto's seen the coin and is already smirking to himself because he knows what's coming. He hasn't seen the card yet, he's just seen the coin.
No Hands also is playing a 4/7 drop version of the Priest. Needs a way to kill off his own Lord Barav here. If he finds that, he's in good shape.
But he's got the 4-drop as well, so...
Yeah, but he has no way to buff it right now.
But Barav with it will sort of kind of...
Oh, he can condemn. I'm silly. He doesn't need to kill it off. He can just condemn.
Right.
But that's the first Grand Slam. Deep Freeze? Okay. So that once upon a time was an Apexis Blast. It's now evolved into a Deep Freeze that costs 4. Apexis Blast with a 0 mana fireball. I think Apexis Blast sounds quite good about right around here.
That adds up to a lot of damage and some trouble. And you were saying about, yeah, but Lorinda, you've got to like set up some minions and then have the damage all in. Yeah, here it comes.
Cash in on a 0 mana fireball, sure. No Hands also has the Fireworks Elemental in hand, which means he can get through pretty much any minion that Monsanto plays. Actually, yes, any minion, because I don't even think there's a minion in Standard right now that has more than 12 health.
Doesn't sound likely, except for Libra and Paladin things, but that's cheating.
I wonder if you Soul Mirror...
To slow him down?
Nope. All right.
There's Zyrella you can find very, very soon.
Does he find it right now? Oh, he does. All right, so that's a full clear. With Zyrella. And I think Monsanto is very interested in doing that.
Yep. Because he would like to heal as well. He doesn't want to hold on to these healing spells for long when your opponent's just 0 mana fireball you in the face.
Yeah.
Like,
Raised Dead is actually sick right now. He gets
Sure.
Lord Barav and Brightwing.
Sure.
Lord Barav is the one he's interested in. Powered Feast? What? Why?
Guess we'll find out.
Knowledge the stars provide.
Maybe he's hungry.
Lord Barav is insane.
Perhaps he thinks he's got the minion angle under control, or feels that if he hasn't got it under control, it's over anyway. Like
Well,
getting the Grand
does he
Slam
really
again,
think-
do you win?
Does he really think he's going to lose to just burst? Like that much burst from a Deck of Lunacy? No, you lose to like minion generation.
Sure.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much use he gets from Power Word Feast. To be fair, he would have taken damage. He would have taken 3 damage, so we bet 20. But I honestly think that Raised Dead was the play there just to have a Lord Barav in the back pocket, because he'd also have access to Lord Barav plus Blade Master as a combo, as a removal combo. He's holding on. He has Powered Feast for a Blade Master combo now, but that's a 3 damage AoE, whereas Lord Barav is infinite with Semiru. They're both Semiru combos, essentially.
One of them does cost you 3 health. That might be the relevant point here.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but I'm gonna disagree with him on this play.
Sure. No, I'm just saying where the downsides are.
Yep. That's a Psyche split. Big Firework Elemental plus Psyche split here. It works out quite well. Because the Psyche split, it'll still have enough health.
Oh, that's so many resources here for No Hands.
My colors burn!
Just the 12. Yeah, Blade Master that. What he needs right now is Barab.
Am I crazy? His Lord Barab died, right?
It
It didn't turn into.
It was a
It didn't-
3-2.
Well, I don't remember how it died, so that's why
I'm trying to. I'm gonna try and find out. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're saying that if it didn't actually die, maybe it was turned into a frog or something. But I don't think that's what happened.
I think it was runed orbed, right?
Just checking. Just give me a moment. I'll work it out.
Okay.
It was rune orbed. Yes.
Yeah,
and then Pake's blast came from the rune orb. Yes.
Just don't know why he wouldn't pick it.
Right, well, he's dealt with a chunk of this board.
Yep. But it's taken a lot of resources in order to do that. Okay, Ysera, that's a lot of value. Oh, it's a 2-mana skull. That's Outcast. Are you kidding me?
It's okay. Oh no, look at this lot.
I don't want to be in this game anymore.
I don't think you're going to have long to wait, to be honest. I don't think you're going to have long to wait. And then we get the finals.
This is how Hearthstone punishes you for killing yourself in one of the previous games, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're playing first one to win 3 Hearthstone games. And if you give your opponent 1 Hearthstone game, that's a third of the Hearthstone games they need to win. Just present it to them. And you have to win even more Hearthstone games because you would have won it. And we both know that Monsanto is going to be so upset at himself. I mean, any player would be, but Monsanto in particular is just going to be like brutally upset at himself. It's a very non-Monsanto type thing to happen.
It's incredibly unlikely that Monsanto would have won this game, even with Lord Barab, to be fair. So
He shouldn't have a priest. He shouldn't be playing a priest. It should have gone ages ago when it should have beaten the paladin.
Yeah, you're right. This is
That's
a
the
board
problem.
clear with Heart of Cthulhu, Blade Master Samuro, and Power Word Feast.
I wonder.
However,
Yeah.
there's more where that came from.
Yeah, and there's less where this came from. So
That's lethal.
one
XP
reason
in the
to have
Grand
done
Slam.
it this way. Okay, I've got a hypothesis here. One reason to have done it this way would be that if he had picked up Apotheosis,
Well played.
Teddy Point, and put it on this with the Power Word Feast, it would have put him back to 30.
Yeah, but he didn't have it. It doesn't matter. At this point, he would have lost the game no matter which card he picked from anything, right? That is a completely unwinnable game by any means, right? So, again, it was him being punished. He shouldn't have been playing Priest from the get-go. Maybe, right? There's still a chance he loses that Priest game against Paladin earlier.
Yeah.
It was just, he would have had a chance, right? He had double Hysteria in hand. He was looking okay. But that game right there, you're never winning that. That one's just tough. It's going to be so hard to go to fatigue in that matchup. He still had 1/7 drop left. He had then the Grand Slam. Even if he didn't have lethal that turn, it probably would have come at some point because of how much just raw minion generation he had with Glowfly Swarm, Psycho Patriot. He had a Hand of Gul'dan, 20 cards left in deck, or 15 cards left in deck. That one's tough, but No Hands moves on to the finals. He's going to be facing Dreadeye. And we'll see. I don't know if the Priest is going to get banned in that one, but there's no Priest mirror. So regardless, we got a funny outcome that if No Hands actually did practice Priest last night, then it was for waste because Monsanto just banned it.
That was amusing, I think, and that's a Monsanto sort of play as well. He would well have known that was happening.